Ladies and gentlemen, Excellencies, good morning. All teachers here today. I don't know what I'm in the position to tell you that I'm a teacher too, but I'm at least happy to be here to explain to you how we in Rotterdam for the last maybe 7-8 years try to impose a new safety and a new safety regime in the city. 2009, I became mayor, and then I get for the first time in my life the responsibility for the police and law enforcement in my city. Not only in the city of Rotterdam, I'm a kind of regional mayor who is also responsible for how to deal with deploying forces in the entire region, which is 36 cities and villages. For the Dutch people, Rotterdam, Rijnmond, Drechtsteden. It's a big area. 7,000 police officers working more or less under my responsibility. So I ask in the very beginning, why shouldn't we try to strive towards more openness? I have every week, within an hour this morning, every week a session with the police chief and the public prosecutor for this region behind closed doors with some civil servants. It's there where we discuss our policy when it comes to policing, law enforcement, and the priorities of the city. Why shouldn't we try also to organize an open session of that meeting? So one meeting behind closed doors and the other one is open to public. That was a scary moment in the so-called triangle. The mayor, chief prosecutor, and the chief of police were called the triangle in our system. So I've been thinking about that for a couple of months, and finally we decided to have indeed an open version. And the philosophy behind that was you can never reach a higher level of safety in the city if you do not succeed in mobilizing citizens, institutions, neighborhood organizations, schools, universities. We need all. Why? Well, 7,000 officers in my city, 3,000 are operating, is 6,000 eyes and 6,000 ears. But the city is 630,000 citizens. That's more than 1.2 million eyes and more than 1.2 million ears. And I would like to mobilize all of that to the benefit of the city. And then we started another philosophy to mobilize these people in the city by creating neighborhood-based communities, groups of citizens, people that want to be in the driver's seat, not only spectators, waiting the mayor to act, but people that really want to do themselves things in their own neighborhood to enrich and to enhance the level of safety and security. Nowadays, we have 53 of these groups divided over the city, spread over the city. And we gave them 300 hours of police capacity. So they may use 300 hours to tell the police what the police in their own neighborhood is going to do. And they have the right to indicate 3 priorities. And these priorities may be different from one neighborhood to the other one. And they have also some small budgets, so they can use some money to do things. And if things become complicated, they may invite the mayor or the triangle to come along and to discuss complicated things. One of these examples is an action plan that we're actually running in Rotterdam West. 2 years ago, the idea of the citizens started about upgrading the social conditions in their own neighborhood. It's about bicycle lanes, economy, but also safety in and around schools, how to deal with drug safety. And to me, it was a brilliant idea coming from the citizens that I asked them, why shouldn't you make a plan out of it? A real plan that we can implement. So they started in a huge room, more or less like this, with hundreds of citizens designing, doing the math, and being creative. To make the story short, finally they made a plan that is 10-point 9 million euros worth that is adopted by the city council and is now in the process to be implemented. Completely ideas of citizens. They don't have the money, it's in the budget of the city, but they have the rights to implement the plan, and we pay the bill. What's a fascinating idea about working with citizens? And we like to do more or less the same when it comes to schools, public schools. We have hardly other type of schools in our city, whether it's universities or other schools, other types of schools in the city. We don't like that our schools become a kind of a prison surrounded by a fence. We would like to have open communities where teachers and students are coming there to teach and to get lessons. That's the core business of a school, not to be a kind of a prison that is surrounded by fence. And I think it's really important in the future to work in that process not only with students. You have been talking about radicalization last minute when they came in. Well, let me tell you the truth. That's not an issue that a government can solve. That's an issue that only can be solved within family circumstances. Because if that goes that far, that the government need to intervene, or my police force need to intervene, then we are late. And the process of listening to students, to what is characteristic to the behavior, why they behave the way they behave in school systems, whether because they have been watching a very complicated television program the day before about killings in the Middle East or about beheadings in the Middle East or etc. If we do not succeed in our schools to accommodate these feelings and to give to these feelings a platform for debate and discussion, we are not on the right track. That's all we need. We need an open and honest discussion about the things that are really happening in the social world of these kids. And don't say, I don't have nothing to do with that because I am teaching math, I am teaching sociology. I'm not here a debating platform. And I hear too much from the educational institutions saying that to me. And sometimes they refuse even to open a debate on that because if they do that, the assumption in the outside world can be, well, there is something wrong with that school if they plan such a debate. We have that in the city of Rotterdam. A couple of schools don't want to have this kind of debates because of the picture of the outside world. Maybe these people in the city will think, so if they do that, then must be something wrong with this school. Well, to me, it's a signal of strength if you do that. Bring that social circumstances into your schools because these kids are not free of the social surroundings. They are a kind of a product of what happens home, what happens off streets, what they see on television. These kids, these students are coming to your institutions. So you cannot separate between things. So organize the platform for debate and discussion. If you don't do that, well, you'll be maybe later forced to spend a lot of money on security issues. And that will be a wrong way of spending your money. So to me, a school should be an open environment, should be an open place for debate and discussion, and next to the core business of school, teaching math, languages, and all the other things. And then the role of parents. It's really important that we work together with parents. If we see sometimes signals, kids send always signals. Whether they are on street or at school, they send always signals. So receiving and recognizing these signals and make an analysis of them can maybe lead to work together with parents. A very specific, if they live home with mothers. Mothers know more than we sometimes can expect about what is going on with a daughter or with a son. A couple of months ago, I received a letter from a Turkish mother from Rotterdam telling me, please help us, try to intervene. My daughter is planning to travel to Syria. The mother gave us a signal. Nobody else, the mother. And this kid was a minor, and I have the authority to retrieve the passport, which I did. So we succeeded in prohibiting that girl from traveling to Syria. And 2 months later, I invited her for a chat with me because I was really interested myself to know more about this young lady. It was a very difficult story. Yes, she was planning. No, she was not planning. Yes, she had friends in Syria. No, was only chatting through internet. So really complicated to catch it. And finally, she said to me, I want one thing, Mr. Mayor, please give me my passport back. And I asked her why. She said, because I have to identify myself buying the cigarettes. And I said, but do you know that if you go to Raqqa, you are at all not allowed to smoke. You are not allowed to wear these trousers. Do you know what you are thinking about? It was a very complicated chat. It took about an hour, and I will still have the passport of the young lady. And so if we can do that as government, you can do that too. And maybe you receive also these signals from the community. For that purpose, we organize what we call the We Community meetings in a lot of neighborhoods, and we try to do that in schools, just to have enough capacity and opportunity to speak to parents. And they give us wonderful signals that we use to modify our local programs. And if we can do that, you can do that too. That's far more better than building fence around schools. Thank you.